The devil fruits. These mysterious fruits have always been shrouded in many mysteries, and have been the subjects of long-lasting debates in the community. For over 20 years, Adam made sure not to reveal many details about their origins, leaving us with vague ideas to speculate on. However, things changed over the time skip, as new concepts, such as awakenings and special parameshes were introduced. These too, broadened our conception about these elusive fruits, and enabled us to come up with an insane idea about the true nature of Luffy's latex fruit, which was rebranded rubber fruit by the world government. Luffy's fruit, introduced early on in the story, in a random manner, never seemed special, as apparently all it comforted its user with, were the elastic properties of rubber. However, recent reveals, clearly alluded to the fruit being more special, than we had initially anticipated. In chapter 918 of One Piece, Who confirmed his arrest and imprisonment, was due to his failure to protect the Gomu Gomu no Mi, which was stolen by the Red Hair Pirates, and eventually consumed by Luffy.
Thank you, Sean. Let us move on. The insistence of the Gurusei on the elimination of Monkey D. Luffy, and the renaming of the Gomu Gomu no Mi, clearly alluded to there being something special about this devil fruit. For us to clearly understand the real nature of this fruit, an overall analysis of the abilities displayed by Luffy is needed. At base, Luffy is a rubber man, capable of extending his body parts at will, all the while being impervious to physical damage. In Gear 2, the rapid flow of blood throughout his body enables him to move at very high speeds, all the while greatly increasing his destructive power. The added ability displayed in this form is the Red Hawk, which remains unexplained till date. More on that later on in the video. In Gear 3, the inflation of his bones enables him to perform base moves which are gigantified, thereby greatly increasing their destructive capabilities. The drawback is the recoil, as overuse of this form causes him to shrink for a while. Finally, in Gear 4, the inflation of his muscles, in combination with his mastery of armament haki, enabled him to increase his overall destructive power as well as speed, all the while allowing for the development of several distinct abilities, most of which utilize the innate properties of rubber. More on that later in the video. The three main forms of Gear 4 were all based on three different concepts: power, speed, and defense, all of which capitalize on a unique property of rubber. The Bound Man capitalizes on the bouncy nature of rubber when inflated. The Snake Man capitalizes on the elastic properties of rubber, enabling Luffy to change the projectile of his punches at will. Finally, the Tank Man capitalizes on the resistance of rubber to abrasion when inflated. If we factor in the Red Hawk from Gear 2, which capitalizes on the friction-resistant properties of rubber, and the flammability of rubber, you could clearly tell that Luffy had mastered all the properties of rubber, and the only other thing left for him to learn was the awakening.
The recent reveals about Law and Kid's awakenings clearly showcased the destructive power of awakenings and the edge they provided when facing a Yonko. After all, Law and Kid did successfully defeat Big Mom. This brings us to the real nature of Luffy's rubber fruit. What is rubber? Rubber is a substance produced from the latex of the rubber plant. When rubber is produced, it simply expresses the innate properties of latex. Latex being semi-solid, would explain the melting occurring on Luffy's hair perfectly well. Latex is known for its tensile and elongation abilities, as well as tear resistance and overall resilience. This would mean Luffy would retain his elasticity, but would, similar to Doflamingo and Katakuri, also be able to produce his material. This means he too would become a producer-type Paramsha Devil Fruit user, meaning his awakening would have an impact on the environment. Latex is not as susceptible to heat damage as memory foam is. Memory foam is directly impacted by heat, or cold, and therefore can impact the effect it has on your body. However, natural latex is not impacted by temperature, and is extremely resilient to both heat and cold. This would explain why Luffy could utilize flame-like abilities in this state. Luffy, being a latex man, would upgrade him from having eaten a normal Paramsha, to having eaten a special Paramsha. This awakening would be the perfect counter to Blackbeard's Devil Fruit. I already talked extensively about the reason why Luffy's Devil Fruit could be the perfect counter to Blackbeard's Quake attacks, as rubber is extremely resistant to tremors. He might even be able to affect any object at the cellular level, influencing the texture of this object. As you all know, the world of awakenings gives rise to countless possibilities, all of which cannot be discussed in a single video. Well guys, that was the video. Be sure to smash that like button, and subscribe to the channel for more related content. Until next time.